Welcome, Tailgate Legends, to Week 1 of the National Football League 2020-2021 season. It is happening. It is finally here. It's been a really, really long year. With COVID, everything going on. Sports haven't been the same. I'm watching basketball, and obviously the Bucks suck, so it's really hard to get into it, but man, baseball's not the same, basketball's not the same, hockey's not the same, none of it's the same. And I'm sure the NFL won't be quite the same, but nonetheless, I am extremely excited that it's here. We've had a long road with the league. We're all friends after the auction, so that's good. That's all that matters. So for my first video of the upcoming season, gonna do just a couple things. First, I am going to rank the rosters, not rate them. I'm going to rank them 12 through 1, and then I will give my prediction, as I do every year, as to who I think will win the league. So let's get started right away. I am going to rank everybody's roster in order, 12 to 1, and I'm going to start from 12, and number 12 is, probably comes to no surprise, Landon. Number 12, I think your team isn't that bad, but it's not that good either, but a couple positives here. You have Russell Wilson and Cam Newton. If Cam Newton somehow comes back to form, that could be huge. Your receivers, you have Keenan Allen, Deshaun Jackson, Jarvis Landry to start your year. I mean, Deshaun Jackson will probably get hurt, but you have Deontay Johnson, you have David Moore. They're both on good teams. They get some work. Greg Ward it sounds like he might be getting some work. You have Zach Ertz, Mason Crosby, a couple good defenses, good solid base. The big issue with your squad is your running backs. You have Ronald Jones and Phillip Lindsay. I mean, Benny Snell and Brian Hill were trash, but you'd be lucky to get one start out of either of those guys unless James Conner goes down. But Phillip Lindsay and Ronald Jones probably both going to be splitting time. At best, I think they're like flex options. Running backs, they score a majority of the skill position points, so that's why I have you rated last, number 12. So now number 11, I have Gar, which again I don't think comes to much of a surprise to anybody. Gar, your team is good, and you've gotten a lot better this offseason. Namely the trade for Patrick Mahomes for Darren Waller. Your receivers, you have Odell, DJ Chark, McCole Hardman, Marvin Jones, Alan Lazard I like. So you have good receivers. You have Mike Gesicki and Greg Olsen. I like both those guys. But again, your running backs, you have David Johnson. Who knows what's going to happen there? Tony Pollard's a backup. Darwin Thompson's a backup. You don't really have any starting running backs, like maybe David Johnson, I guess. But, Duke Johnson last year actually outscored David Johnson on the year. I don't think that'll happen this year, but you get the point I'm making. Again, it comes down to running backs. More times than not, the teams with the hot running backs on their squad late in the year generally make it farther. So, Gar, that's why I got you number 11. Number 10, I have, and I feel like this is the second year in a row I've had to rip this team. I have Burns at number 10. And by the way, I'm not putting a ton of stock in rookies unless we know they're starting, like Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I'm not putting a ton of stock in rookies, so just kind of be aware of that. But Burns, you have, Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger. You'll find a start. You'll be able to start one of the two probably. Probably not going to blow anybody out of the water with those two quarterbacks, but, they're good quarterbacks if you have a really good team. Your running backs, You do have Alvin Kamara, and you only have to start one running back. So you have Alvin Kamara, you have Chase Edmonds, Tariq Cohen, Rex Burkhead is still on your squad. Latavius Murray, Adrian Peterson, Boston Scott. You have a lot of backups. You have a lot of backup running backs on your team. And then your receivers, you only have 5 receivers, but those 5 are T.Y. Hilton, Alshon Jeffrey, Julio Jones, Devontae Parker, and Kenny Stills. So, you have good receivers. And then you have Rob Gronkowski. Rob Gronkowski is your tight end, your only tight end, which is weird because I feel like, I don't know. I feel like O.J. Howard is going to get more work. Cameron Brate's going to get some work. I'm not sold that Gronk is going to be like this tight end one that you're going to be able to start every week. So, Burns, that's why I have you at number 10. Number 9, I'm telling you right now, number 9 through 5, I really think are all fairly interchangeable, like seriously. Number 9, I have Yacht. However, I'm going to run through like his possible starting lineup. Could be Aaron Rodgers. Okay, it's Aaron Rodgers still. Kenyon Drake, Aaron Jones. He has Devin Singletary. So you have Aaron Jones, Kenyon Drake, Devin Singletary. That's a good running back core. You have Stephon Diggs, DK Metcalf, and Preston Williams. So you only have to start two receivers, and you have 3 running backs you can start. You can start Kenyon Drake, you can start Aaron Jones, and you can start Devin Singletary. And then your tight ends, you have Dan Arnold, Tyler Eifert, O.J. Howard, Hayden Hurst. You'll find a starter there. So, I have you at 9 because you're not very deep. After your starting lineup, let's just say you go with Aaron Rodgers, Kenyon Drake, Aaron Jones, Devin Singletary, Stephon Diggs, DK Metcalf, Hayden Hurst, maybe O.J. Howard. That's a good starting lineup. So, you're not that deep, which is why I have you rated number 9, but solid starting lineup. So, yeah. Again, 9 through 5 could be all interchangeable, but number 8, I have Sam and Weiler's team and Brady's team. Again, I really love the starting lineup here. Lamar Jackson, Austin Eckler, Kareem Hunt probably, Marlon Mack maybe. That's risky. There's 3 guys there. I don't even have Jonathan Taylor off of my taxi squad yet because I just want to see how that plays out. But then you have Kenny Golladay and Allen Robinson. Now you do have Emmanuel Sanders, who just signed with the Saints. He could be an okay wide receiver 3. And then you have Will Dissly and Darren Waller. So you have Darren Waller, the Walrus. So again, I really love the starting lineup. Lamar Jackson, Austin Eckler, Kareem Hunt, and you can start Melvin Gordon too. I don't know what's going to happen there with him and Philip Lindsay. They're probably going to split time, but you can start 3 running backs and then go Kenny Golladay and Allen Robinson. But then you do have 3 who I believe 3 really good rookie receivers. So again, I'm not putting a ton of stock right now into the rookies, but again, I don't see a ton of depth there. Enough to put you at number 8. But really, really love the starting lineup. So, number 7, I have the Greasers. Team kind of took a hit with the whole Leonard Fournette thing. Everybody kind of gave you shit about the Leonard Fournette deal only because Leonard Fournette is so inefficient, like one of the most inefficient players in NFL history of anybody getting that kind of work. But he was getting that work, so I understand why you made the trade. I wouldn't have done it myself, but I understand. So, you have 3 good quarterbacks. You're going to be able to get, a good start out of either Stafford, Daniel Jones, or Carson Wentz. And then you have James Conner, Leonard Fournette, who it doesn't sound like he's going to start the year. Maybe he takes some of the work from Ronald Jones. Maybe he takes all the work. Who knows? But you do have Breida, you have James Conner, you have Todd Gurley. Your receivers, I like your receivers. You have Amari Cooper, Tyreek Hill, and Robert Woods. After that, you have Antonio Brown, Brashad Perriman, and Josh Reynolds. Don't love either of those three. I completely understand the signing for Antonio Brown for $12, though. I mean, he's either worthless or he's going to be awesome. So, and then you have Jared Cook and Jack Doyle. So again, really like the starters, and I think your starters are probably a notch above Weiler's. Especially with your receivers, with Amari Cooper, Tyreek Hill, and Robert Woods. Really, really like those three receivers. I'm just not sure what you're going to get out of your running backs. Maybe James Conner and Todd Gurley end up being awesome. Maybe they don't. There's probably a 30% chance, I think, for both of them that, maybe they just kind of suck or they split a little more time than you'd like. Who knows? But Greasers, that's why I got you at number 7, so middle of the road. Number 6, and again, 9 through 5, man, they're all so close. But number 6, I do have Roofer. I love your quarterbacks, Deshaun Watson, Dwayne Haskins, and Josh Allen, which, by the way, Dwayne Haskins is untouchable, in case anybody was wondering. But then your running backs, you have Chris Carson, Mark Ingram, and Gus Edwards, and J.K. Dobbins, where I would put a little value in J.K. Dobbins because I think no matter what, you have the Ravens starting running back. If Mark Ingram gets hurt, right now they have Gus Edwards listed as the number 2. You got Gus Edwards. They have Justice Hill listed as number 3, and then J.K. as number 4. However, I think if Mark Ingram went down, J.K. Dobbins is just going to kind of come in and at least take some of that work. But then you have Josh Jacobs, who I love Josh Jacobs. So between Josh Jacobs, the Ravens running back, right now it's Mark Ingram, and then Chris Carson, you have 3 really good running backs. Receivers, on the other hand, again, excluding the rookies, you have DJ Moore, who I love. Christian Kirk could bust out. Will Fuller, if he stays healthy, Will Fuller could be a wide receiver 1 this year. That's a big if he stays healthy, though. And then tight ends, Dallas Goedert, Hunter Henry, and TJ Hawkinson. I think, there's no way you're not going to be able to start one of those guys every week. And then, of course, you do have a lot of rookies. But again, with your receivers, Will Fuller is injury prone. Christian Kirk, we still haven't seen it. Like, we're all expecting it, but we haven't seen it yet. And then DJ Moore is awesome. So, you have 3 really good running backs. You have a couple really good receivers. Love your quarterback. Don't have as much depth as I would like, or as everybody would like, I guess. But still good enough to be ranked number 6. Number 5, I feel bad about this one, just because he is the reigning champ. Number 5, I have Evan. Losing Godwin definitely hurts your team. But, you have Matt Ryan, Phillip Rivers, and Derek Carr. I still like Matt Ryan. You have Dalvin Cook with Alexander Mattison, which is a huge plus. David Montgomery, we'll see what happens with that. And then James White, Jamal Williams, could be streaming options down the road. Who knows? Then your receivers, you have Tyler Boyd, Julian Edelman, Calvin Ridley, Cortland Sutton, and Adam Thielen. And you have a lot of wide receiver 2s, which is okay. I mean, if you're starting 3 wide receiver 2s every week, or 2 wide receiver 2s every week, that's pretty good too. But then you have Travis Kelce, who as of next year is going to be over $100, and George Kittle. So you have the top 2 tight ends in the league. You have some really, really good receivers, and then you have one elite running back, and then one running back we're still kind of waiting to see, how that transpires. But really good team, obviously good enough to beat me in the championship last year. You lost a couple players. I don't think you did enough to replace those players. So that's why I have you at number 5. But still top 5 team. Number four, I have Boggs. Boggs, and obviously we're in the top 4 now. These are elite teams. In my opinion, these are the best team. You know, the really good teams. So number 4, I have Boggs. He has Drew Brees, who just doesn't seem to get any older ever. Drew Lock and Baker Mayfield. Running backs, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Le'Veon Bell, Raheem Mostert. Antonio Gibson is listed as the number 2 in Washington. I think you're going to be able to get a few starts out of him this year as well. I'd be really excited about him if I were you. So really like the running backs. However, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a rookie, and I know, I get it. The hype train is full go, 300 miles an hour right now for Clyde Edwards-Helaire. All I'm saying is he's going to be a PPR monster. I don't think there's any doubt about that, but this is not a PPR. This is a point per first down. If he has 60 catches and 10 of them go for first downs, you know, that's minus 50 points. You know what I mean? Going from a PPFD to a PPR. So I mean, I get it, and I understand he's the number 1 running back on the number 1 offense on the number 1 team in the NFL. I get it. I don't know. For him to be your number 1, which he is in every single, if he is on your team, he is your number 1 pretty much anywhere. But after that, you know, you have Raheem Mostert and Le'Veon Bell. Malcolm Brown could be, you know, a good option at the beginning of the year, maybe even, you know, farther on. But then your receivers are stacked. You have A.J. Brown, John Brown, Paris Campbell, Randall Cobb, Brandon Cooks, A.J. Green, Darius Slayton, Golden Tate, and Michael Thomas. I believe that every single one of those receivers could be very fantasy relevant this year. And that includes Randall Cobb and Brandon Cooks for Houston. And then tight ends, Chris Herndon, Blake Jarwin, Irv Smith, Jordan Akins. Really, really good depth, really good tight ends there. So, yeah, really good team. I'm just not in love with the running back situation here. I think by next year, if Antonio Gibson hits, Clyde Edwards-Helaire hits, I mean, your running backs are going to be looking nice. But we'll see. Number three, I have me. I really like my team. I think I'm probably a little deeper than most years, but not as top heavy as, you know, I have been recently. Excited about my team. Weary of what could happen, though. You know, I have Kyler Murray, who I'm really excited about, but I'm not trying to be too excited about it. And then I have Ezekiel Elliott and Joe Mixon, Nyheim Hines. I do think he's going to get some work. Like, he's going to be a decent bye week filler. You know, if I can get 4 or 5 catches for 40 or 50 yards, a couple runs, maybe a touchdown, it'll suffice. And then I have Gio Bernard as Joe Mixon's handcuff. Now again, I'm not using rookies really in these rankings. However, I'm optimistic that between Cam Akers, A.J. Dillon, and Jonathan Taylor, maybe not A.J. Dillon this year as much, but between Cam Akers and Jonathan Taylor, I will be able to get a few starts out of them this year as well. But then my receivers, I love my receiving core, led by DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins, Cooper Kupp, who I love Cooper Kupp. I mean, everybody here knows that, but, you know, DeAndre Hopkins, Cooper Kupp, Terry McLaurin, who I'm fucking really excited for. I know a couple people have tried to trade for him, and honestly, I think you know, I talked to the Greasers about Terry McLaurin. I think they, you know, when we talked they at least gave me like we talked about legitimate trades, because I think they knew how good he can be. They know how good he can be. I just couldn't pull the trigger. And then I have Michael Gallup, Sterling Shepard, where Golden Tate now is hurt. It sounds like Darius Slayton might be hurt too. So Sterling Shepard might be really good. And then Corey Davis, still on the Corey Davis train, baby. And then, tight ends, here are my tight ends. Mark Andrews, Tyler Higbee, Dawson Knox, Jonnu Smith, and Ian Thomas. I think between that group, one of them will be okay. No, but seriously, I have Mark Andrews. So then my starting lineup right now, as it stands, I do have my lineup set against Prusky. Kyler Murray, Zeke, Joe Mixon, DeAndre Hopkins, Cooper Kupp, Terry McLaurin, Mark Andrews, and then, Justin Tucker and Pats D, I think. But so I like my team, like it enough to make it number 3, but not as good as these last 2 teams. 2 teams left. I have Prusky and Lemke. Number 2, I have Prusky. Prusky's team is really, 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 really good. There's one big deciding factor, though, which is the reason I put Lemke as the best team over Prusky. We'll get to that in a minute, but so Prusky, your quarterback, you have Kirk Cousins and Sam Darnold. It'll be okay, because you also have your running backs, Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, and Miles Sanders. You want to talk about a big 3 running back? That's a fucking big 3 running back. You also have Tevin Coleman, might be able to get a start out of him, Carlos Hyde, and then you got Deion Lewis to back up, Saquon Barkley. But your running backs, I think you have the best running back core in the entire league. Big reason I put you at number 2. Your receivers, you have good receivers. You don't have a lot of depth in your active roster, but you have, and again, I'm not putting rookies. I'm not giving him a whole lot of weight in these rankings. However, on his active roster, he has Chris Godwin, Anthony Miller, Juju, and Mike Williams. So he doesn't have a ton of depth, but he has Brandon Ayuk and Jerry Jeudy. So you would think that between one of those guys, and I know Ayuk, it sounds like he's hurt, but between one of those guys, you only have to start 2. So right now you're starting Juju and Chris Godwin. Well, let's just say you have to start 3. You still have Mike Williams, and it sounds like Mike Williams is only going to be out for maybe a month. You can easily put in Jerry Jeudy or Brandon Ayuk, and your running backs are going to score so many points. It's like, just give me 10 points out of one of these receivers, and you'll be fine. You know what I mean? So that's just kind of how I feel about that. And then you have Eric Ebron and Evan Ingram. A lot of good things about Eric Ebron, and then Evan Ingram, if he stays healthy, top tight end option in the league. Number 1, obviously, I have Lemke. Looking through his team, the biggest separator for me was the quarterbacks between Lemke and Prusky, where Lemke gets to start Dak Prescott, who I think was the 2nd highest scoring player in the entire league, in a league where quarterbacks score more points than anybody. And the difference is huge. You have your mid-tier quarterbacks, and the difference isn't very big between number 5 and number 10, but the difference between, 1 through 4 and then the 2nd-tier group, it's a big gap. It's like 100 or 100-plus fantasy points. So, to get that over Prusky, that's why I have him as the highest-ranked team. So Dak Prescott, Jared Goff, Nick Chubb, and Christian McCaffrey. I don't love your running backs after that. You do have Kerryon Johnson and Chris Thompson and James Robinson. So, you will have the running back for the Jags too. So you have enough. You have enough. And then you do have DeAndre Swift, to kind of lock up Kerryon Johnson. I know they signed Adrian Peterson. I'm not super worried about that. But Then your receivers, you have Devontae Adams, Hollywood Brown, Jamison Crowder, Mike Evans, Tyler Lockett, Hunter Renfrow, Curtis Samuel, who could be pretty good, and Deebo Samuel, who obviously, if he gets healthy, is going to be a stud. So, and then, you know, your tight ends, you just picked up Gerald Everett, but you have Noah Fant, Austin Hooper, Jay Sternberger. Your team is really, really, really good. So, yeah, that's those are my rankings. 12 through 1. And then real quick, I'm going to wrap it up. Who I think, my prediction for winning it all, my prediction is Prusky. Prusky, I think you're going to win it all. Prusky or Lemke. I'm going to go with Prusky. I thought really long and really hard about Prusky and Lemke. Lemke's just kind of got this, he's kind of got this thing where he doesn't have good luck. I have the same thing, me and Lemke. I mean, just cannot catch a break. You know, you fucking go into the year with these stacked teams and blah, 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 and it doesn't even matter. You can't catch a break, not going to win. That's why I'm taking you, Prusky. So, yeah, again, I'm super excited for the NFL season to start. Yeah, so that's about it. Good luck, everybody.